All right. So I want to share how I was able to get a $1,600 dollar per week job on Upwork, less than 48 hours. So I'm going to show you everything about how I got the job, what I first saw on the job, why, how I applied, and what I did to get the job. So just so that you see that I'm not making this up, here is the job, right? I'm currently working on it, right? Started in the middle of July. It's $40 per hour and a weekly of 40 hours per week. So that's 1,600. This is actually a job that I'm working on at the moment. Obviously, I can't show you the client's name or the name of the company, but I want to show you how I went through it. So I outlined every step that I went through from when I saw the proposal to when I applied. So let me just quickly. So I already copied the proposal and everything into a document. I can't show you the can't show you the client's name, but obviously, I don't want to broadcast the name of my client around. So I removed anywhere the client's name is mentioned. I changed it to XYZ. But again, like I told you, this is not something I made up. It's an actual job I'm working on right now. So this was the job posting. I can pause the video to read it through. But basically, what I paid attention to was that they are B2B SaaS, which is my experience. They already know their target audience, right? The product is already in market. So I usually look for products that are either just being built or in market, not product that and I work with any stage startups, right? So what they're looking for is a freelance growth marketer to build and test marketing funnels that attract more the right leads. So these are the things that I looked at that really made me want to apply. So talk about positioning, messaging improvements, high converting landing pages, test and launch page campaigns, set up email sequences, CRM or demo booking funnels, pretty like a partner, right? So they have experience. They want someone that has experience marketing B2B SaaS platforms, which is where I am. They're comfortable testing small budget, which is again something that I personally like doing. And they have an understanding of bootstrap startup construction and experimentation. Again, that's where I stay I work. So they did talk about all the things that I should include a short note of why I'm a good fit, link to seminar funnel or campaign, my preferred way of working, optional but helpful, and then they had some follow-up questions. So this was basically the job posting I saw on Upwork that I decided to apply for. So if you go to so the first thing I saw on the proposal that ticked my boxes was that they mentioned that looking for somebody to grow with, right? And that's what I like. I like I like companies that I can grow with. I always tell my clients minimum of 3 months. If you're not going to work with me for a minimum of 3 months, it's not going to work because I'm not going to get results for you in the first month or second month. Right. So what I did next was I copied the proposal into Claude. I have an Upwork proposal template that I have a framework that I use to quickly run research analysis on the industry, the messaging, the positioning, and the competitors. So let me show you what that looks like. So here is the quick research insight. So I just used Gemini to do some research on the company what it is. So it could not actually be found, right? The name of the website could not be found. That's because it's not on their SEO. But basically, we looked at I did some research on the market landscape. This is one of their biggest competitors. Then what is their target audience facing? So do some analysis of what their target audience is facing, did some competitive analysis on how we can differentiate ourselves, right? So this year's problem was pricing transparency, right? Some other competitors, hide their pricing. The main competitor, Mindbody, increased rates with hidden fees, transparent pricing, and all that. So another thing is they need it to be simple and easy to use. So basically, these are all the complaints that people have. I was able to do this research in like 3, 5, 10 minutes with Gemini, right? I had the what's the word now? I had prompt that I created. I was able to help me generate it. So this is just copy straight from Gemini. I know editing or anything. Talks about how we could do it. So all of this research, I think it's about 4 pages. So all of this research came up together. Then I took all of that information, right? So got to my mirror board. I just wanted to show you what um the to do the research analysis. So once I used that research, I created a valuable 10-page document for the client. So I created this using that research I showed you. I created a document that had an executive summary, the core problem that their product is facing, the strategic solution they can use, how they can implement it with a weekly breakdown, a breakdown of their industry and competitors, and a quick summary of the results they can expect within so you can see that here. I call it the value document I shared. So it's growth funnel and audit and quick win. So the executive summary, the product, from analysis, current messaging. Remember they said that they wanted somebody that understands messaging. That came from that angle of messaging, right? So the current headline, which this was the current headline, right? It wasn't the best. So I talked about what I had done. I've worked in two fields like this, clinically and welcome company that I worked with, right? So the first thing was that this is the problem. So I basically AI did all of this. I created this document. Again, at this point, I had not gotten hired. This is all free work, right? So I did this analysis using AI, the core problem, their messaging, what I think, how I think they can solve it, right? Give you industry problem or software category. So talk about the problems that I think we should work on. Um, Solution pillars, then we should position against current losses, right? So how much are they losing? How much are they losing? So that I did all of that. Then I gave a implementation plan so that if we start working together, here's an example of what you will see. So problem focused value proposition, solution pillars, competitive differentiation, use case specific framework. I just finished this. I had a meeting with a client this morning. I was presenting this and they absolutely loved it. So then next I need to work on creating lead gen content, then building use case specific pages. So we are going to build pages. I'm going to build pages that are specific to each problem that we solve. So rather than our landing page, you will see everything that we do, but then there are specific pages for specific problems that we solve. So that when we create content or we run an ad that talks about reducing no-shows, for instance, instead of sending them to the generic landing page, we send them to a landing page specifically for reducing no-shows, right? So it uses the core positioning from what I do in phase one, but it immediately addresses specific scenario approach. Then I remember that the proposal they asked for no sorry the Upwork job they uh asked for suggest one idea you would test to get more tools. So that's what I put here. So I mentioned that one thing they can quickly do is to use a cash flow reality calculator, right? Again, AI is not like created of it. I just told AI, here's what I want you to do, and it came up with this. So it didn't take me like much. I think it took me like 20, 15 to 20 minutes to do this, right? So how much money are losing to operational inefficiency? So I created a calculator that does this. So that once they put in their no-show rate, the number of classes that they typically have, and the amount they are charging, we show them how much they are using. And then our company can help you reduce no-show rates by X%, which means that you can make this amount of money as opposed to how much it costs to use our tool. So that's basically like the high impact win. Then of course I talked about how we're going to do our positioning and then the expected result you can see, right? So I did all of this. So I took all of this information, these documents, and then I created a proposal. So this was my Upwork proposal. This is probably what you want to see. Okay, let's look back. Before we go into that, let's look to my report. So did, I created this document, then I wrote a present proposal again that had a hook. I insert the value document I created. It mentioned my relevant experience, and then it added any specific requirements that came from the job post. Again, I didn't have to think about all of this. I just uploaded the job posting into Claude and using my framework asked it to answer it. So here is what my proposal looks like. So hi, instead of listing my growth marketing credentials, I analyzed XYZ SaaS company's positioning challenge, created a strategic growth funnel, audit with specific quick wins. You can see the analysis here, and then I added the link to the document. So this, what you see here was the link to the document. Then I said, hire me and I'll transform a generic messaging into fitness industry focused positioning that converts 40 to 50% better in the next 60 days. This is what I'm going to do for you. This is my pitch, right? So the next thing is that I broke down my approach. What did I do? I do with messaging foundation, then build targeting landing page. Again, I'm referring what I created in the value document and then launch lean tests that actually convert because positioning what is solid. And I have experience doing this, right? I've done this with Clinicky, I've done this with Welcome, Industrial. Thankfully, the client is also Industrial, so it works. Then example, I put the link to my positioning framework. It's a document that I have for a client I've worked with before. I linked it. Then for a company I work with, Welcome, I linked it. Then here's why I'm the right fit for the company. Because again, remember that they asked that it shouldn't about why I'm a good fit. So I mentioned why I'm a good fit. I talked about I understand early stage start control. I work with lean budgets. I've solved this problem before. I think of positioning before campaign, which means you don't need to spend much on ads before to work with me. So agencies will say if you don't have 5,000 ad budget, we can't work with you. That's not how I work, right? So then my immediate focus is to build the messaging architecture overhaul, build a cash flow calculator, use case specific landing pages, then test targeting, people that are problem aware. They know that there's a problem, but they are not solution aware. And the specific idea I'll test immediately is the calculator thing I talked about. I'm first starting with a small project to prove results, feeling what works, and happy to discuss whatever arrangement depends for them. And they eventually choose retainer. So they're just paying me to work for them for the next 6 months. Right. So describe your recent experience with similar project. Again, this was easy to do because I have a document inside Claude that talks about the companies I've worked with, the result I was able to generate, coupled from my resume and another document from my portfolio. So whenever I'm trying to say that I want to describe recent experience, I don't need to list everything out. I just need to tell Claude, hey, I am just to tell people that, hey, I am working. I want to describe my recent experience with similar project. Let's use the clinic or the welcome or the imaginement over the red cloud, whatever it is. I mention it. So it just pulls up all that data and puts it into the document for me. So all of this took like an hour to apply for the job. All right. So let it generate. So these are the results. This is the other platform I work with. This is the results. Any certification, measurement certification, again, no client cares about certification. My client has never for once asked to see my certification. It's just a way of filtering people out. But if you're actually good at what you do and you don't have any certification, it will not matter. Then how do you use metrics to inform your strategy? I explained that how I use conversion funnel analysis, basically specific information that shows I know what I'm doing. Again, ask Claude to help me answer this because I know what I'm doing. So I can judge if what Claude is saying is good. So I didn't need to spend time brainstorming about this. I was just able to quickly use that. And that's how I was able to create the proposal. So this was the proposal I sent. This was the proposal that I sent over to the client. And then after sending the proposal, I jumped on the call. And again, like I've mentioned, if you follow me on Twitter, I mentioned that on my calls with clients, I always allow the client to talk and listen. I always ask intelligent questions. I allow them to speak and explain themselves. And then I outline what my process looks like and then mention my relevant experience so that I come like an expert. And then I had a client, I had a call with them a week later, because they wanted to try other people. I knew they're not going to find anybody like me. So we had a meeting 1 week later. But in terms of the time I spent looking for the job, I didn't think I spent 2 hours because the first meeting was like I think 30 minutes, the second meeting was like 30 minutes, and that was it. And boom, I got the job, right? I got the signed contract. I think I already showed you the contract. I already started. I've made some money. I mean, I can't scroll up and show because I don't want to reveal the client name and all that. But this is already my second week in, and it's working. But we're already working together, and they love what I'm doing. So the lessons you can learn from this, just before I finish, what are the lessons you can learn from this? Always show, don't tell, right? Instead of just telling your client I can do it, show them that you can do it. Whether it's with a sample document, a piece of research, your portfolio, you want to get your client to the point where they believe that you can do it. Then you need to deliver so much value. I think this is the most important thing. You need to deliver so much value to the client that the clients believe they are being wrong, especially if you are working with a client that you want to work in the long term, right? Think about it. If your client is going to work with you long term, at $1,600 per week, multiply that by four weeks in a month, you're looking at that's like 4,800 or 5,200 per month, around that. If I maximize the time, let's say that okay, we do half of that, I'm looking at $2,000 per month, and they're going to do that for at least 3 months. That's like 10,000, almost $10,000. For somebody that is willing to commit $10,000 to you, you should be also willing to go the extra mile to show them that you know what you are doing. So always use AI where possible to leverage and of course choose the right kind of clients and apply. Like I mentioned earlier, I chose the right kind of clients because they mentioned what they were looking for. They were new clients. Now, the new clients, old clients thing is different on is tricky on Upwork. I'll probably cover that in another video some other time. But sometimes working with new clients are better because they have a problem and they just came to the platform. They are not comparing you to other people, right? They are going to judge you based on the merit of your proposal. One of the problems with that I've spent time on Upwork is that they understand what it means to have this badge or that badge. So they care about like job success score. But for a client that's just joining Upwork, they don't really understand what job success score is. They don't really understand what top get plus is. What they care about is your proposal. If your proposal is good, they can hire you. So I've had a couple of success working with new clients on Upwork. But if any clients, so I usually either go for clients that are new on Upwork or clients that are long on Upwork that have spent like at least 50 to 100K. But it's just good that are spending between 1K to like 5K. They're usually looking for the cheapest, and that's not me. Right. So that's how I choose my clients. There's probably going to be another session in the future talking about how to choose clients on Upwork. But yeah, that's how I got the job. So like I mentioned earlier, I'm launching a newsletter next week where I'm going to give. I mean, you know that I'm not giving you access to any of these documents, but if you join the newsletter, there's going to be a community section where I get to share resources like this. I get to share it. I get to actually give you to go and work on it. And then the prompts I use, for example, the prompts I use to be able to generate this research, right, is something I can always share with you. I can actually walk you through the process of how I normally generate these prompts, right? So that's some of the things that you get if you join the newsletter and the community that comes attached to the newsletter. But again, you don't have to. If I mean, you don't have to, but at least this should be able to give you a new way of thinking about how to apply for jobs. And I've done this over and over and over. Whenever I'm going to apply for jobs, I'm also going to be, I'm still going to be using this strategy. So yes, that's basically everything. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the comment section or reach out to me on Twitter. I'm going to link my Twitter handle. So you can send me a DM on Twitter, or and I'm also going to drop the link to the. I'm also going to drop the link to the newsletter below, so you can sign up for the newsletter and yeah, get to see more of ourselves. Thank you so much, and have a great day.